Right now at 5, we'll learn tips to help make Independence Day easier for veterans with PTSD.
And we have an alert day today. Dangerous heat returning to the area. We'll have a look at that in that forecast to get you out the door coming up.
Plus, we'll learn about a Fort Scott, Kansas restaurant named one of America's best.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Snowe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is Tuesday. Tuesday.
Second day of July.
Here we go. Getting close to the holidays. So we're still keeping an eye on some storm chances for the holiday. And of course, we'll have more on that in the full forecast. But today, we're back to it. Dangerous heat has made a return to the area again out there. So you got to make sure you're taking precautions. Some of you may be able, maybe you're lucky. You got the whole week off. Not everybody's so lucky. Don't have the whole week off.
Right.
So let's start with a look at those heat alerts, shall we? With the heat advisories across the bulk of the area through 8 o'clock this evening. And then we've got those excessive heat warnings and heat advisories into northeastern Oklahoma. And those will run through 9 o'clock tonight as well. So we got to deal with that. We're talking heat index values of 105 to 110. So that puts us here where heat exhaustion is likely, heat stroke is possible. And don't forget, we got plenty of heat safety tips on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Just click on that forecast page and you will find a plethora of information at your disposal. All right, it's going to be breezy too. South winds gusting upwards of 30 miles an hour. Otherwise, clear skies and hot temperatures as we climb into the upper 90s across the area. Late this evening, though, some of our friends in our northwestern counties may get a few scattered thunderstorms. We'll talk about those as well here in just a minute. Out to the east, a little lucky, a little cooler. Monette, Cassville into the low 70s. Everyone else upper 70s and even reaching 80 degrees in a number of our far western communities. And then you factor in Dew Point already at this hour. So again, excluding Monette and Cassville, we've got heat index values into the low to mid 80s out there for some of us. So a very muggy start to the day. Just kind of a precursor as to what we can expect later today. Pretty straightforward for the majority of today. Sunny skies, maybe a stray cloud or two by early evening rather, and then by late evening and overnight, we do have some thunderstorm chances. Our highs today, upper 90s, and a reminder, those heat index values, dangerous levels, 105 to 110. We're going to break down the details on the heat, the thunderstorms, and how our 4th of July is shaping up so far here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. A motorcycle and multiple vehicle collision slowed the Monday afternoon rush on South Range Line. Joplin police say a northbound motorcycle's path was blocked as a tractor trailer pulled out in front of him. The motorcycle swerved toward the center line, striking 3 stopped cars waiting in line in the 36th Street turn lane. The 26-year-old male operating the motorcycle was transported to a Joplin hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. South Range Line traffic was diverted for about an hour as the crash was cleared. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, ahead of the Kansas primary in just over a month, KOAM is working to make sure you're informed about candidates for one of the most contested races on the ballot. That is the Republican and Democratic primaries for the 2nd congressional district seat of Kansas. Now, 5 Republicans and 2 Democrats hope they'll be their party's nominee for the seat. We sat down with all of them asking questions about the economy, abortion, immigration, and more. They're all competing for the seat currently held by Jake LaTurner, who announced he would not run for re-election. You can find all 7 interviews unedited on our website and the KOAM Plus app for your smart TV. Well, it's time for another KOAM flag swap event. Today will be set up at Arvest Bank at 2023 East 32nd Street in Joplin from noon to 1:30. You can stop by during that time to trade in your old tattered American flag and receive a brand new one for no charge. We'll have 100 new flags to hand out, and the old ones will be retired according to the U.S. flag code. America's Best Restaurants Roadshow made a stop in Fort Scott. Brick Street Barbecue was chosen to be a part of the roadshow and record an episode for their web series. Lunch was open to exclusive guests from 11 to 2 p.m. while the filming of the episode was in progress.
To be able to be recognized for the successes that we have had is just a great honor, and there's still a lot of things that we have to work on, so just to be recognized enough for the effort that we put into it, it's pretty cool.
Now, there's no word on when the episode on Brick Street Barbecue will be published, but when it is, you can view it on the YouTube page for America's Best Restaurants Roadshow. Before firing up the celebrations for the 4th, you might want to give a heads up to the neighborhood's veterans. KOAM's Amber Jenkins has more.
It's ironic because we celebrate the 4th of July. It's our independence, and in part it's a celebration of our military efforts to secure that independence. And so we all know a veteran, and we think as we're celebrating the 4th of July that it's going to be this really exciting and fun event. But for some veterans, it's not that. It reminds them of when they were in combat.
The loud booms and smell of gunfire can trigger memories or even post-traumatic stress disorder. According to the Ozark Center, 7% of veterans deal with PTSD. Jacob Hefner with the center says fireworks can rekindle painful associations. If the fireworks show becomes too much, he suggests that veterans with PTSD focus on less painful memories linked to the 5 senses.
5 things that they can see, 4 things that they can touch, 3 things that they can hear, 2 things that they can smell, and 1 thing that they could taste. And just by going through that process, they can take the anxiety level that they feel going up and bring it back down.
Hefner also recommends that veterans let their neighbors know if fireworks bother them. And he hopes all of us remember to be aware of the veterans who gave so much to make our celebration of independence possible. Reporting in Joplin, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
The Ozark Center has resources for veterans dealing with PTSD, and for information you can go to our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, a former Pittsburgh State Gorilla signs to play professional basketball overseas. Plus, the Caribbean sees strong winds and rough waters as Hurricane Beryl makes landfall. And we have a hot and sunny day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
A former Pittsburgh State basketball player will be playing professionally overseas. Jeremy Shaw signs a pro contract with KK Alkar of the Premier Liga in Croatia. Shaw spent 2 seasons with the Gorillas. He played in 28 games in the 22-23 season, averaging more than 6 points and 2 rebounds. Then this past season, the 6'6" guard averaged upwards of 16 points and 4 rebounds per contest, starting in 20 games. Prior to PSU, Shaw played at Detroit Mercy and North Central Missouri Junior College. KK Alkar's regular season begins in late September. As the calendar flips to July, the final month of Mink League baseball is already here. The Nevada Griffins were in action last night on the road. Griffins in Sedalia trying to beat the Bombers for the first time this year, and they do exactly that. Nevada wins 9-7 on the road, including Saturday's non-league game. The Griffins now have their first winning streak of the summer. They try to stretch it to 3 on Friday at home against the Bombers again. NBA free agency is here, the day since teams have been able to negotiate with free agents. Several moves have been made across the league, which includes the Oklahoma City Thunder. OKC signs free agent center Isaiah Hartenstein to a 3-year, $87 million deal. The 26-year-old big man has bounced around the league since being a second-round draft pick by the Rockets in 2017. From there, he went to Denver, Cleveland, Los Angeles, and most recently, New York. With the Knicks this past season, Hartenstein averaged 7.8 points and 8.3 rebounds, appearing in 75 games and shooting over 60% from the field. He was just one of just 3 players in the NBA last season with 85 blocks and 85 steals. Plenty of other big moves throughout the rest of the NBA, one of those being Paul George signing with the 76ers. He signs a maximum contract worth $212 million over 4 years. George joins former league MVP Joel Embiid and All-Star guard Tyrese Maxey in Philadelphia. The 34-year-old nine-time All-Star averaged 23 points and 5 rebounds per game with the Clippers this past season. Elsewhere, the Mavericks signed Klay Thomas, who had been with Golden State for 13 seasons. Thompson won 4 NBA championships with the Warriors, but this past season averaged under 18 points per game, which is his lowest in that category in over a decade. Thompson is 34 years old. According to ESPN, the deal was motivated largely by an opportunity to compete for a 5th championship. Still to come, we're going to see why the motive behind new Alzheimer's criteria is being questioned. Plus, another look at that hot forecast and how the 4th is shaping up when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 5:16 on this Tuesday morning. Starting with the future track. Now for today, it's pretty straightforward. We're looking at sunny skies, south-southwesterly winds gusting upwards of 30 miles an hour, and dangerous heat. That's why we have the alert day today. Our highs going into the upper 90s. Some may even make the lower 100s with heat index values reaching 105 to 110. I know you wish it was a little bit lower than that, but unfortunately that's the case. By 10 o'clock tonight, though, some isolated to widely scattered showers and thunderstorms will start to roll in as we head toward roughly this time tomorrow morning. We'll see a few more scattered showers and storms. And even with the scattered showers and storms out there, it's still going to be hot, but it's going to be just that much cooler than where we are today as we go into the low 90s. And again, we'll have those scattered storms throughout the day on our Wednesday. They'll be isolated to widely scattered, and that's why those who don't see much rain may even make the mid to upper 90s out there. But where you see a little more rain, a little more cloud cover, you'll be a little luckier. Then tomorrow night into early Thursday morning, we have another batch of showers and thunderstorms, and some of these could be strong to low-grade severe with damaging wind and large hail as the primary concern. You can see if this actually unfolds the way Future Track says exactly at that bow echo there, could be some significant damaging wind gusts by very early Thursday morning. By the time we roll to 5 o'clock, 6, 7, even up to noon, we're going to be hot, we're going to be dry and partly cloudy, and then by noon we start to see some isolated to widely scattered showers. This is the part everybody's watching very closely. It's the part that we're watching very closely, is the exact timing on thunderstorms by the evening of the 4th. So getting close to time to set off fireworks. By 5, you can see we've got thunderstorms across parts of southeastern Kansas, and some of these could be severe, with large hail and damaging winds being the primary concern. As we go through the evening, by 7, we've got this line just lined up here from southwest Missouri back into Oklahoma with some scattered showers and storms still back behind that, and that severe threat will continue. Then as we go later into the night, we're looking at this point at just some isolated showers and thunderstorms. So some of you may still be getting some shower and thunderstorm activity when it's time to start setting off fireworks, but it looks like at this point everyone should, or most of us rather, should be dry as we head through the late evening hours on Thursday. So again, later tonight, have that low risk for maybe a strong storm or two in our northwestern counties. Then tomorrow we have a low risk across the entire area, and then Thursday, majority of us in an elevated risk for those severe thunderstorms, and those will be primarily in the evening hours on our Thursday. Our UV index today is back up there. It is at an 11, so that's extreme. Burn time is less than 10 minutes for unprotected skin. We have heat advisories across the bulk of the area through 8 this evening, and then into Oklahoma, excessive heat warnings and heat advisories there go through 9 this evening. And again, that's for heat index values upwards of 110 degrees possible. So as we head into our Wednesday, our heat risk still out there, but starting to shift south, and it's still hanging on Thursday. So still another hot and muggy day. Heat index values into the triple digits, but by Friday and Saturday you can see we switch to a minor risk out there as we kind of have an opportunity behind that cold front bringing us the storms to dry out the air mass that's in place. Because look at this, our dew point is at 70 right now in Joplin, 79% humidity. It is 77. It is clear. It feels like 79 with a south breeze at 13. You can see off to the west that heat dome out there. So the further west you go, the warmer it is. Upper 70s to 80 degrees. And then a little further east, a little cooler out there. We're back into the low 70s for Monette and Cassville. As we get our morning underway, sunny skies, and it'll be hot by late morning. We're going into the upper 80s out there, and our heat index values will already be pushing into the upper 90s by 11 o'clock this morning. As we go through the day, again, it'll be breezy with those winds gusting upwards of 30. Sunny skies otherwise, temperatures into the upper 90s across the area. And a reminder, I know I've said it several times, but we're looking at those heat index values 105 to 110 degrees. So do make sure that you are taking the appropriate precautions out there. As we head through the evening, we'll start to see clouds gradually increasing, and that's ahead of those isolated thunderstorm chances late this evening into the overnight hours, mainly in our northwestern counties initially, hence why we had that low risk in our northwestern counties. And then we'll have scattered storms throughout the day on our Wednesday, mid-70s, upper 70s for our overnight lows, so another mild evening out there. We'll go low 90s on Wednesday, and then we'll heat back up Thursday because we're going to have that gap in between the morning storms and those evening storms. And that's why we're going to be able to build up some instability for the threat for severe weather by Thursday evening, and are also going to be able to get quite hot again, upper 90s. And we're looking at heat index values once again in triple digits. Much better on Friday and even Saturday, better than where we have been. Then we've got pop-up storm chances heading into the start of next week, and that keeps our temperatures a little more in check, hanging out in the upper 80s and low 90s. That's checking your forecast. We're back with Health Watch right after this.
Well, topping Health Watch this morning, the nonprofit Alzheimer's Association has published its final version of new diagnostic criteria for the disease. For the first time, it calls on doctors to rely on biomarkers from lab tests or brain scans rather than pen and paper tests of memory and thinking. The authors say the change is meant to catch the condition earlier at its most treatable stages. But this also means people could be diagnosed with Alzheimer's based on a blood test alone, even if they don't have memory difficulties. Outside experts and drug industry watchdog groups have criticized the criteria change, saying people can have biomarkers without ever developing dementia symptoms. They also point out that it's unclear whether giving a person expensive medications before they show symptoms will benefit them in the long run. Well, it's long been seen as a preventative tool for cardiovascular disease, but recommendations on low-dose aspirin have changed. However, a new study suggests some seniors still take a daily aspirin, and they could be putting themselves at unnecessary risk. Mandy Gaither has more on what everyone should know about the potential dangers of taking aspirin every day when it's not needed.
It's a decades-long belief that seems to be taking some time to debunk. Historically, aspirin has been seen as a tool to help prevent heart disease.
What happened a few years ago was that clinical trial data revealed that in older adults, the benefits of aspirin may not outweigh the risks of aspirin.
In 2019, the American College of Cardiology and the American Heart Association updated their guidelines to say that aspirin should be used infrequently to prevent a first heart attack or stroke for those with no history of cardiovascular disease.
Aspirin is a blood thinner, so it affects platelet function, so it affects clotting and increases the risk of bleeding.
Dr. Ashish Shiraju with Cleveland Clinic is one of the authors of a new study looking at daily aspirin use across the U.S. since the recommendation changed. They found that in 2021, about 1 in 3 patients 60 and older who did not have a history of heart disease were still taking aspirin every day for prevention. Based on that data, they project about 3 million of those people across the U.S. were taking it without medical advice.
If you have heart disease, oftentimes aspirin is required, and stopping aspirin without the doctor's advice is dangerous. But if you're taking aspirin in the absence of heart disease, it's something that no one's advised you to do, and you're 60 years or older, it's time to have a discussion. Disclose that to your doctor.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The doctor says that since aspirin is an over-the-counter medication, many don't even think to tell their doctors it's being taken. but he says it's important to disclose that. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we do have an alert day today for dangerous heat returning to the area again. We'll have another look at your forecast and how the 4th is shaping up when we come back.
Right now at 5:30, the community of Carl Junction rolls up its sleeves for a good cause.
And we have an alert day today. Heat index values 105 to 110 as dangerous heat returns to the area. We'll have a look at that forecast. Get you out the door coming up.
Plus, Watered Gardens hopes to train strong community members with the help of some fireworks sales.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is Tuesday, and of course, we're live here on KOAM and streaming on KOAM Plus on your smart TV or your TV. Maybe it just has a good personality. Maybe it's not so smart.
It's about what's inside.
It is. It is exactly about what's inside. So hopefully wherever you are joining us, you're having a great start to your day. If you haven't stepped outside yet, don't. I mean, I could sum up the forecast today with one word. Nope.
Nope.
Nope. That's
I like it.
That's all you need to know, really. It's
save us some time over here.
Yeah. It's gonna be hot, but I mean, in all seriousness, it's back to that dangerous heat again across the area. That's why we have that alert day today. We do have a number of heat advisories across the entire area. Most of us, they run through 8 this evening, and then into Oklahoma, there are excessive heat warnings and heat advisories. Those all run through 9 o'clock this evening. And again, that's because we are looking at heat index values upwards of 105 to 110 degrees. Now we're going to have a breeze. It's going to be gusty. South winds gusting to about 30, but it's not going to be a cool breeze, so it's not really going to do much for us. So with those heat index values at that level, it puts us here where heat exhaustion is likely, heat stroke is possible. You've got to make sure you are taking care of yourself and you're taking precautions out there. You have to treat the heat just as you would if it was a severe weather event, because this is severe weather just in a different form. That's why we have alert days for heat, not just severe weather, because you've got to play it safe. And remember, we've got a lot of safety tips on how to keep yourself, your family, your friends, your coworkers, whatever the case may be, your pets as well, safe during the heat on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Just click on the forecast tab and you will find those tips there. Our future track is very bland for the majority of the day. We're looking at sunny skies that will allow us to heat up into the upper 90s. Some of us may even make the lower 100s later today. And then by about 8 o'clock, look out to the west of Yates Center. Got a couple of showers out there. Some of our northwestern counties could get some thunderstorms late this evening into the early overnight hours, ahead of more thunderstorm chances as we head into our Wednesday and Thursday. We're going to break down details on that because I know a lot of you are curious. We've been talking about rain for the 4th. It's been showing up. You want to know when and whether or not you're going to be able to set off fireworks? Don't worry. We have all those answers here in a few more minutes. First, though, again, we got to get you out the door. And again, you may not want to go out the door unless you're off to the east. Monette, Cassville, look at this, 71 degrees. All of your neighbors, though, in the upper 70s, near 80 degrees out there. And then heat index values, look at Yates Center. It is 5:33 in the morning, and it almost feels like it is 90 degrees in Yates Center this morning as one of the hot spots. So we're not kidding around with this heat. It is going to get dangerously hot. It's already hot, and it's only 5:30. The sun's not even up yet. Sunny skies through today. Again, highs upper 90s out there, maybe some low 100s, couple of clouds by late evening ahead of some isolated storm chances. And remember, heat index value is 105 to 110, so seriously, please make sure you're taking care of yourself. Again, we'll have the details on our rain chances over the next few days and how the 4th is shaping up here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, see you soon. Well, drivers in Newton County can expect some lane reductions and delays on Route 86 beginning next week. KDOT says resurfacing on the route will start on July 8th. Crews will be working on Route 86 between I-44 and Newton County Route BB south of Joplin. Drivers can also expect flaggers and a pilot car to guide traffic. You can head over to KOAMnewsnow.com this Sunday for more information. Well, yesterday, the Community Blood Center of the Ozarks in the Carl Junction Area Chamber of Commerce teamed up for a blood drive. Donors were invited out to give blood and receive a $10 gas card as well as a limited edition beach towel. Event organizers say while there is always a need for blood, that need is even more so in the summertime.
There is always a need for blood, and we never know what type of blood we need. But when it's summertime, people are traveling, they're vacationing, they're on holiday, they're off schedule. So the need is increased because everyone's traveling. Sadly, there will be accidents, but illnesses, cancer, heart treatments still carry on no matter what is going on. So we always need blood.
The CBCO is the sole provider of blood, platelets, and plasma to over 40 hospitals in Northwest Arkansas, Southwest Missouri, and Southeast Kansas. All locally donated blood stays in the community. The loud noises that come with Independence Day celebrations may not only be stressful for those with PTSD, but also animals. The Joplin Humane Society is partnering with Pyro Pennies to host a silent fireworks stand where you can find fireworks that light up and sparkle without the boom. Because more dogs run away during the 4th of July than any other time of the year, proceeds from the stand will be used to cover reclaiming fees at the shelter.
They're just so distraught, I would imagine, because they don't have familiar surroundings, and sometimes they just run forever. It seems like you just don't know how far they'll go. So we're really trying to help, keep them home, keep them safe.
The Humane Society stand is in Webb City on West 4th Street. It will be open from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. through the 4th. The Joplin Fireworks Stand benefits people looking for a new start in life. It's run by Joplin's Forge Center for Virtue and Work. Forge Center is a Watered Gardens Ministries program that helps struggling men develop virtue and a strong work ethic. Purchases of fireworks from Forge Centers help to fund the program.
Well, we hope this year to net over $10,000, which is enough to put at least one of our students entirely through the program. Like I said, 16 to 18 month long program, and so it costs about $10,000 for one guy to move through it.
Forge Fireworks will remain open until 10 p.m. on July 4th. Well, it's not the 4th of July yet, but the city of Girard, Kansas just couldn't wait to set off some fireworks. Folks gathered last night at the Crawford County Fairgrounds to enjoy the show. There were also vendors and food trucks set up ahead of time.
I love coming out to these events. I'm a very bubbly, chatty person, naturally, but more so in these events. So I just enjoy coming out and seeing everybody. I see people around town, obviously, as a chamber director. You see people all the time. But this is everybody all together at once. It's one big family coming out to celebrate and just coming out to be together.
You can learn about other upcoming firework displays around the area on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Firefighters battle wildfires on 2 Greek islands in the eastern Euxine Sea. Plus, the U.S. military's temporary pier built to bring aid to Gaza has been removed for a second time. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Topping World Watch, the Caribbean sees strong winds and rough waters as Hurricane Beryl makes landfall on an island near Grenada. Officials say the extremely dangerous storm may devastate communities with storm surges, floods, and high winds. Beryl is the earliest Category 4 storm on record, according to the National Hurricane Center. It weakened to a Category 3 early Monday, but picked up to a Category 4. Making landfall on the Grenadines' Carriacou Island in the Caribbean Sea with maximum sustained winds of 150 miles per hour. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration data shows Beryl is the strongest known hurricane to pass through the region. Well, firefighters battle wildfires on 2 Greek islands in the eastern Aegean Sea. Greece's prime minister is warning residents to expect what he's calling a dangerous summer. Authorities are asking for the public's help in limiting the devastating impact of the wildfires. Greece has had 42 wildfires in a 24-hour period. 8 of them are still not under control. Drought and high winds are being blamed for creating conditions that caused the fires to start and spread. While aid groups continue to struggle getting food and supplies to starving Palestinians, The U.S. military's temporary pier built to bring aid to Gaza had to be removed for a second time. Connor Hansen has the details and why it's unclear when the struggling seaport will be back up and running.
The U.S. military has once again removed its temporary aid pier in Gaza due to rough seas. It was first installed more than a month ago, but has been closed part of that time.
As always, the safety of our service members is a top priority, and temporarily relocating the pier will prevent potential structural damage that could be caused by the heightened sea state.
This time, it's unclear if the pier will return. U.S. officials say aid shipments have been piling up on shore since it has been unsafe to transport them further into Gaza. The lack of aid creating a dire situation for displaced Palestinians.
There is no food, there is no safety, there is no clothing. Everything is forbidden to us.
The security challenges throughout Gaza right now are the general sense of lawlessness and the fact that it continues to be a combat zone.
On top of challenging weather conditions, some U.S. lawmakers have questioned the cost and effectiveness of the temporary pier, with a price tag of $230 million. And the Defense Department's Inspector General has announced a review of the operation. The aid corridor was a key announcement in President Biden's State of the Union address.
As of right now, the intention is to continue to get aid into Gaza by any means necessary. That includes the pier, airdrops, and of course, as we've always said with the pier, it is meant to be temporary. It is not the long-term solution or solve for land routes.
Since it opened on May 17th, the Pentagon says more than 19 million pounds of aid have been delivered using the temporary pier.
And that's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:46 now on this Tuesday morning, and it is an alert day Tuesday as we've got dangerous heat returning to the area. We're talking heat index values 105 to 110 degrees. Now, the future track for today is very straightforward. It's going to be breezy, winds gusting out of the south-southwest upwards of 30, but it's also going to be sunny and hot. Temperatures today going into the upper 90s, maybe even a couple of lower 100-degree readings out there, and it's going to, again, stay sunny until late this evening. We'll start to see a few clouds here and there, and then by 9 o'clock we see these little scattered thunderstorms rolling into our far northwestern counties. So late this evening into the early overnight, the northwestern portion of our area could get a couple of thunderstorms, and those could be strong to low grade severe, with hail and wind being the primary concern there. And as we go into tomorrow morning, we're going to start to see more scattered showers and thunderstorms across the area, and throughout the day Wednesday, these are going to be isolated to widely scattered, but the ones that we see could be strong to low grade severe, with some large hail and damaging wind gusts as the primary concern. Now, because of the position of this boundary, some of you, especially south of I-44, may not see much of anything at all, which means you're going to be considerably warmer than your neighbors to the north. We're looking at highs tomorrow averaging the low 90s, but down south you could go back into the mid to upper 90s with only a couple of pop-up showers and storms. Then as we go overnight Wednesday into Thursday, we have that severe threat continuing, and we're keeping an eye. This may not be exactly like this or in this exact location, but we're looking at a thunderstorm complex, and if we get a bow like that, we could be dealing with some damaging wind gusts in some of our northern counties overnight Wednesday into Thursday morning as that rushes through the area. Then our Thursday is going to be partly to mostly cloudy. It's going to be another hot one. Temperatures going back into the upper 90s. And then we'll start to see some scattered thunderstorm chances across the area by the afternoon. And then by the evening, here comes a cold front that's going to bring us an opportunity for more severe thunderstorms. In fact, we have an elevated risk on Thursday for severe weather, mostly for damaging wind gusts and large hail. So here's what the future track is thinking right now. Here's what we're looking at. By 5, that cold front is positioned mainly across southeastern Kansas. That's where the bulk of the thunderstorm activity is going to be. By 6, 7 o'clock, we get this line of strong to severe thunderstorms surging off to the east. And we could have some lingering shower and thunderstorm activity back behind that. As you can see initially, it also doesn't do much for temperatures either. By about 10 o'clock, if we're lucky, and this holds, we're looking at just a few isolated showers and storms. So some of you may want to keep an eye to the sky, monitor your plans, just kind of keep this in mind that we could have a few lingering showers or storms, but the majority of us at this point should be dry when it comes time to set off those fireworks on the 4th. So again, overnight tonight, we have that low risk for some stronger storms in our northwestern counties. Tomorrow, we have a low risk across the entire area for some strong to low grade severe storms. And then we've got that elevated severe threat across the bulk of the area Thursday, and this is going to be primarily for Thursday evening into the late night hours with that line of storms that's expected to roll through. Quick reminder, our UV index today is at an 11. That is extreme. Burn time for unprotected skin is less than 10 minutes, so if you don't have to be outdoors, don't. Otherwise, make sure you're taking precautions. Heat advisories across the entire area, most of us through 8 this evening. Oklahoma, the excessive heat warnings and heat advisories continue through 9 this evening, and of course, our heat risk is at a major across most of the area. Right now, 77 in Joplin, feels like 79 out there, and temperatures around the area. A little further east, you're a little cooler. Low 70s, Monette, Cassville, even into Stockton. But the further west you go, we've got upper 70s and into the low 80s. And then we factor in these dew points, which take a look at some of these, into the mid-upper 70s for some of us out there, putting us muggy to soupy. That makes those heat index values considerably higher as well. Look at some of these, like Neodesha, for example. It almost feels like 90 degrees right now. We get our morning underway, sunny skies, 88 by 11 o'clock, heat index values already into the upper 90s, and then we'll have highs today, those upper 90s, maybe some low 100s, heat index values 105 to 110, and we'll go low 90s Wednesday, upper 90s Thursday, a little more manageable Friday and Saturday, pop-up storms heading into the start of next week. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more right after this.
A state trooper has a surreal run-in with a South American rainforest creature at a very unexpected place. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
A remote Washington state rest stop was the scene of a surreal rescue of a bizarre rainforest animal found way outside its comfort zone. Trooper Nick Daly took the call of an odd animal spotted at a Yakima roadside rest stop that turned out to be a critter native to Central and South America called a kinkajou.
I thought that update was made. I thought it was a joke because my thought was it was some sort of Pokemon.
No, not a Pikachu. A kinkajou. It's a carnivorous rainforest animal that's part of the raccoon family. How it got there is still a mystery, but the trooper was able to capture and transport the kinkajou to a Tacoma zoo, where it has been quarantined and is now being cared for.
You know, later that day I was thinking, man, I only thought the zebras would be the wildest animal we saw here in Washington.
Another wild case of critters showing up where they don't belong, a gargantuan colony of some 180,000 bees was discovered in the ceiling of this Scotland home after the owner's kids complained of hearing buzzing at night. Experts identified and safely transferred 3 colonies worth of bees, which are now being monitored and once deemed healthy could be used for honey production in the future. Finally, this South Carolina pup is back where he belongs, safe and sound, after going missing following a Low Country River boating accident. After being thrown from the boat, Rocky was nowhere to be found. A concerned post to social media rallied locals to find the golden retriever, who, after missing for 36 hours, was spotted chasing a raccoon on the opposite side of the river. His owners credit his doggo life jacket with saving their beloved Rocky. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
We'll be right back. Well, a beloved drink brand is vowing to stay right where the price is just right. Arizona Beverages, known for their iced teas, say it still wants to give consumers a bang for their buck, and their 23-ounce cans will still cost you only $1. Company CEO Don Voltaggio says they'll hold prices steady for the near future to help consumers battle inflation. He says their production speed, shipping practices, and thinner cans help maintain their lower price, and Arizona canned drinks have stayed at 99 cents since the early 1990s. We'll combine dinner and dessert with Cup Noodles' newest Campfire S'mores ramen flavor. The limited edition flavor combines microwavable noodles with a sauce that incorporates flavors of chocolate, marshmallow, and graham crackers, plus mini marshmallows to sprinkle on top. The unique flavor will be sold online and at Walmart stores nationwide for $1.18. This isn't the first time the brand has taken a daring leap into new flavors. It previously released a pumpkin spice everything bagel and breakfast-inspired ramen noodles.
I think I'll just stick with my regular ramen noodles at this point. That does sounds a little too odd to mix s'mores with. Well, Elf did it Will Ferrell did it in Elf. He took spaghetti and then mixed chocolate syrup. Okay, I mean, I guess it can be done. I don't know. We have an alert date today. It's going to be dangerously hot, sunny skies, upper 80s by 11. Heat index values already approaching 100 by late morning. Heat index values today, 105 to 110. It'll also be breezy. South-southwest winds gusting upwards of 30. Sunny, highs today, upper 90s, maybe even some low 100s here and there. Going through the evening, clouds start to increase a bit. And then our northwestern counties, late evening into the early overnight, could see some scattered showers and thunderstorms. Some could be strong to low-grade severe. We'll keep an eye on them for you. Otherwise, mid-upper 70s. We'll have more scattered storms on Wednesday. They'll be isolated to widely scattered, and some strong storms will be possible, low 90s. Hot again Thursday because we won't see thunderstorms again until the late evening. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more right after this.